one thing that was shown that night is that, or well, two things, one for each guy. Justin Gaethje is still at the top of the division, and also Paddy Pimblett is a real contender, and he's a very very tough guy. Um, Dealing with the punches that he got landed on him, getting rocked, standing back up, still landing punches against Gaethje, going the full 25 minutes. It was a good, fun knockdown, drag out war. And like you said, yeah, I mean, you feel like your brain says Gaethje should win this 9 times out of 10, right? But then you got those moments where Patty just felt like he was, man, is this about to be where he gets to the next level, gets a win against an old veteran, not old, but a guy who's been in the game for a long time, a veteran. But he at least went out there and showed how tough he is.
Definitely. What do you think of Justin against Ilya now? Do you give him much of a chance there? A lot of people seem to be doubting him a lot already.
Well, it is tough. You know, I the way I describe it is like, I do think there's been some people say, oh, it was kind of a sloppier fight, or there was some other stuff happening. It wasn't as technical. I think Justin Gaethje is more technical versus a more technical opponent. You know, Patty has this very unpredictable, herky-jerky, kind of awkward, weird style, which I think lends itself to both guys fighting a little bit more sloppy or a little bit more sporadic or chaotic than they normally would. You know, you go back and watch Gaethje versus Poirier, Gaethje versus myself, Gaethje versus Tony Ferguson, these fights where it's like traditional striker versus traditional striker, kind of very similar movements. He can put on a lot more technical performance. With that being said, Ilia Topuria is easily the most talented and most dangerous guy in the entirety of the UFC. So it's going to be a tall task.
Yeah, it felt like Justin and Patty kind of knew the assignment there too, opening the Paramount era. And yeah, I don't know if Justin is going to be fighting like that every single time going forward.
Yeah, he'll be a little bit more cautious, which will be very good for Gaethje, man. Very good.
Yeah, well, it'd be good. I mean, obviously, they're aiming for the White House. You're aiming for the White House. So that'd be great to obviously share a card with the title fight.
Yeah, exactly. So we shall see how it plays out.
Yeah, and, at 325 had some big lightweight fights too. What did you think of Rufi against Fiziev?
Yeah, that was good. I mean, obviously, Fiziev is, I've trained with him down in Florida. He's one of the best strikers I've ever trained with. I just think Rufi's range and obviously just landing that one big punch was kind of the beginning of the end. But it was good for Rufi to get back in the win column, get his hand raised, and we'll see what his future holds.
Yeah, no, an interesting memory of this division. What about that co-main there with Benoit Saint Denis and Dan Hooker?
Yeah, I mean, it's always hard to see Dan not get his hand raised. Dan is a fan favorite. We all love Dan. But obviously BSD went out there, rose to the challenge, and got a dominant finish, man. He really did look dominant from beginning to end and weathered that kind of early storm that Dan put on him. And yeah, man, some interesting fights coming up in the lightweight division, and maybe one of them will happen at the White House. We'll see.
Yeah, well, the next big one is obviously Holloway versus Oliveira at UFC 326, this BMF title fight. Who do you think leaves with that BMF belt?
I got my eye on that one, man, because I think Max gets the win. I do. I think Max gets the win. I think Oliveira is coming off of a pretty devastating knockout and turned around real quick, jumped into another training camp. And, I got my eyes set on that BMF belt, if Max wins. So we'll see.
Yeah, that would be an interesting one. What about Dan Hooker? Did you see him call for the rematch after this? You guys could be on.
But I saw him do that after another fight. Like, it's almost like he makes these funny call outs that maybe he's serious, maybe he's not, and then he kind of makes fun of himself talking about being on the prelims and stuff. So he's a character, man. If you don't like Dan Hooker, I don't know if you like MMA.
Yeah, I mean, for you, it feels like you're going to be open to anything. I mean, I don't know, Michael. The more we learn about, Conor's side of things here, I feel like this fight maybe not happening between you two there, it has less to do with you and probably more to do with him and his situation. Is that maybe, I don't know, making you more okay or digest this better to seem like he has a lot to figure out before he even gets back in the cage?
Yeah, it never has anything to do with me, man. I'm the most reliable, most professional man in mixed martial arts, maybe in the history of mixed martial arts. So when I sign my name to a dotted line, I show up and do the work every single day. With that being said, there's still some hope there that maybe that fight happens. We shall see. But, we're having some conversations. And either way, I will be on the White House lawn June 14th.
Nice. Yeah. So I know you're not going to announce it here or anything, but Dana was very clear, like the matchmaking was going to start last week. Have you been involved in at least conversations since that point?
conversations have been had, but you know, we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out, Mike.
Yeah, and you're open to anyone. I feel like
Yeah.
you just want to fight on that card.
Yeah, man. So we'll see.